So many times I've told Africans that they need to interrogate religion and find out which bits and pieces of it belongs to them and how they can make it their own. Because modern day religion as we know it does not belong to us. It has its owners, and the owners have spoken. You know why? Because the Pope recently said that the Catholic Church is going to bless same-sex marriages. Now, this is something that the church has been vehemently against for a very long time. And by extension, when the church in the West is against it, the church back at home or here where I am in Africa is against it because, again, they are a subsidiary of the greater Western church. But now the thoughts are not aligning because the Pope says, bless same-sex marriages, but then this goes against everything culturally and spiritually that African churches believe in. And now they're saying no. And then the question becomes, who is the owner of the church and what's the church going to do about it?
What I should say is that the teaching of the Catholic Church is not changed, it remains the same regarding same-sex marriage. Nothing has been changed. We continue following the teaching of the Catholic Church. And I would like to urge Ugandans not to speculate over this, that the teaching of the Church, the teaching of the Catholic Church has been changed by His Holiness the Pope. And that is the joy or sadness of the Ugandans because the Pope has done so.
Hello there, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of our conversations. My name is Ondiro Oganga. I'm a business journalist by profession and a digital content creator. I love coming on here, having conversations with you guys about Black people, Africans, our empowerment, and how we can rise up and take our rightful place at the global stage. You can connect with me on social media at Ondiro Oganga, or you can come over to my YouTube channel. The name of the channel is Ondiro Oganga, where I get to profile Africa through politics, people, and culture. Come say hi, come subscribe, come see all the good stuff that I'll be posting there beginning this January. I want us to get into the gist of this video. I don't want to make it long because there isn't a lot to say, honestly. Sometime last year, the Pope made a declaration saying that the Catholic Church should go ahead and bless same-sex marriages. Now, same-sex marriages are a normal thing in the West. It still has its push and pull, but you've made so many strides as opposed to us back at home in Africa. I mean, you can get married, you have some rights that are accorded to you constitutionally, you're recorded, you're acknowledged as who you are and how you identify. There's special opportunities that are reserved for people in that community. However, in Africa, we are not there yet. Now, this is not to say that people do not have the human rights. There have been instances, I don't also want to generalize it, but people go about their lives in a normal way. You get healthcare, you get education. It's just we haven't gotten to that place of the conversation where we get to recognize you and then assign to you, I don't want to say special privileges, but the kind of privileges that you need to be able to live in your full truth and who you are and how you choose to identify. Outside of that, majority of the people in Africa have been very hesitant to embrace the idea of LGBTQ and same-sex marriages because, again, if we go by Sam George's analogy and Uganda's analogy where they've passed the anti-LGBTQ law, they say this is against the African culture, right? The church has also come out to say this is ungodly. You know, there's a running joke that says God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And they've held on to this belief for a very long time because they had the backing of the Western church. Now, the Western church has taken a step back and say, go ahead and bless same-sex marriages. And the church in Africa is in shambles. They don't know what to do with themselves. Because the master, the owner of the church, the owner of the religion, your boss has said, go ahead and do it. And because you've never questioned anything, you did not find your individuality in religion, whichever way the colonialist brought it to you and gave it to you, despite the fact that he gave you the Bible with a bullet in your lung, and if you closed your eyes when you opened it after prayer, your land was gone. You still chose his religion. You still continue to practice it in a way that glorifies that community. And you clinged on to the bits and pieces that you thought were relatable to you. And now that that is being scrapped off, what then happens? what happens? You know, it's interesting because is the Catholic Church in Kenya and in Nigeria and in Ghana going to break away? What are they going to do? Because once the main Catholic Church speaks, what are you going to do? Are they going to lose their jobs for holding a belief? Are they going to leave the church? Are they going to break away and form their own church? What's going to happen? What then happens to that belief system if it keeps changing to feed into a certain agenda or to suit the times and trends that we live in? You know, what is true and what is not? What is cast in stone and what is not? What kind of wiggle room do we have here? For me, it's just interesting to see how the African church is going to grow from this, how it's going to morph. Is it going to seek now its own autonomy, its own identity, its own independence? What is going to happen? What is the nature of religion and spirituality in Africa moving forward when you take out the lens of colonization? Because now when the bigger church speaks, even if it doesn't align to your value, you have to comply unless you don't want to be a part of the church anymore. I find that really interesting. I don't know, let's listen to some of the reactions from some of the church leadership after this announcement was made.
What I should say is that the teaching of the Catholic Church is not changed, it remains the same regarding same-sex marriage. Nothing has been changed. We continue following the teaching of the Catholic Church. And I would like to urge Ugandans not to speculate over this, that the teaching of the Church, the teaching of the Catholic Church has been changed by His Holiness the Pope. And that is the joy or sadness of the Ugandans because the Pope has done so. Because I've told you officially there's nothing that has been declared regarding this. But the Pope is a kind person, I know. The Pope himself is a merciful and has the mercy of Jesus Christ. And I'm sure and I know that the Pope always asks fellow Christians and Catholics to pray for one another, to pray for each other, especially regarding the question of being sinful and sinners. So it is possible that the Pope, in that aspect and context, was quoted as praying for those who are involved in same-sex. But I don't want to speculate on this until I get the actual message from the Pope. But confidently I can tell you that the teaching of the Catholic Church regarding the same-sex marriage is intact. It has not been changed.
There's nothing to add and there's nothing to subtract. I think this is just an issue that we sit back and we wait to see how it unfolds. However, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But also it comes at a very important time because, again, as Africans, we need to find who we are. We need our independence. We just need to find things that suit who we are. And as Africans, when we are ready to have that conversation and cross that bridge, then we're going to do it on our own terms. But now it almost looks like we're doing it on the terms of, you know, the West, and that's never the best way to do anything. Thank you for watching. My name is Ondiro Oganga. Comment down below what you think. What do you think will happen to the church in Africa? Do you think they're going to have to comply? Or do you think they're going to have to break away? And do you think that breakaway is going to be tragic or it's a good thing? Let me know what you think. Give this video a like. It goes a long way in showing the algorithm that you enjoy our content, which you do, because you're always coming back and we're so grateful for that. Connect with me on social media at Ondiro Oganga, or come over to my YouTube channel when you're done watching this video. The name of the channel is Ondiro Oganga, and I post videos profiling Africa through people, politics, and culture. I'll see you again next time.